REI Property Pro Tutorial for Exit Strategy for Buy and Hold Properties. This tutorial is going to show you how to quickly review and calculate your exit strategy if you are buying and holding this property as a rental. In the previous sections, we have already estimated our purchase assumptions, our financing options, reviewed our exit strategy for rehabbing and selling the property. Now we're ready to review and calculate our buy and hold exit strategy if we plan to hold this property as a rental. Please notice there are only a few highlighted boxes available for your input. The other areas are calculated for you as you enter additional information. Also, we have a question mark next to each line item. You can click on any of the question marks for an explanation of that box. And you can review this exit strategy as a construction deal or as a rehab project. We're going to leave it as a rehab project. Okay, now the ARV, your after repair value. This exit strategy is different than the fix and flip exit strategy because if you started from the deal analyzer, this number will populate here for you. But for this hold and rent exit strategy, this number has not populated because oftentimes the ARV can be a different number for sale for rental properties versus properties for sale. The work completed on a property is usually different for rental properties versus properties for sale. So we're just going to continue to use the $250,000. And now we have to include the number of months to rent the property after the rehab is completed. In the previous sections regarding rehab, we've already estimated how long it would take to complete the rehab. So now we're just going to estimate the time to rent the property. If you're not rehabbing this property and it's already occupied with a tenant, then you would select 0. Otherwise, I would usually put 1 or 2 months. So we're going to choose 2. Okay, now we're down to our next section to input information. Our operating expenses, income, and expenses. Let's go to operating income. With this software, you can calculate a single-family property or an apartment community with 100 or 1,000 or more units. It's totally up to you. You can add as many rows as you like, or you can delete a row if no longer needed. Now at the top, you will have the option of choosing a monthly input or an annual input. As you change between the two options, you will see how these boxes and that row will light up for your inputted information. I usually use the monthly input. Now, here we can input the number of units here to the left. If it's a single family property, we would just put 1. If you have a multi-family property, you can either put a lump sum number here or the total number of units. You can itemize with the units per bedroom. If you choose to include a lump sum number, you will see that number change in calculations for you at the bottom. But we're just going to go with 1 unit for a single family property. Next, we're going to include our unit type. That's the number of beds. Let's go with 3. And the square footage of the property, we're going to leave it at 2,000. Next, if the property is not already rented, we would need to estimate what we think we could rent the property for. Since we have selected the monthly option, the annual is calculated for us, and vice versa if we choose the annual option. So we're going to go with the 2,000. Now at the bottom, you will see your income totals and an option to choose a vacancy loss percentage. This percentage is usually calculated with a multifamily property to account for the time any one of the units are vacant. So for our deal, we're just going to choose 1%. If you have any other income on this property, you can include that here. That could be anything from a laundry room on a property to generating income from vending machines. Below there, you would see your gross income. and then we will hit update. Now we're going to estimate our operating expenses. At the top here, you will have 3 different options instead of 2 for calculating the expenses. You can choose to use the cost per unit per year, a monthly input, or an annual input. Again, as you change between these 3 options, you will see how the boxes in that section will light up for your inputted information. I usually use the monthly input. Also, we have some pre-populated line items in an area to include a management fee if you're using a management company to help manage your property. You can change and personalize any item to fit your scenario. You can add as many rows as you like, or delete a row if no longer needed. Or you can change the name of any line item to match whatever scenario you need. Now, once you've entered all of your totals, just review your numbers and we can hit update. Once we've completed our income and expenses, you will have your net operating income. Very important number to know. Our next section, do you want to refinance this property into permanent financing? If you pay cash for this property and not looking to pull out any cash, then we will put no. But if you're looking to refinance to pull cash out or just refinancing to satisfy your hard money loan, then we will put yes. For our scenario earlier, we included an estimate for financing options to purchase the property. So we're going to select yes. Then we have a few other areas to complete. What percentage are we going to finance the property? Let's use 70%. What is our interest rate for the new loan? Let's keep it at 7. How many years will our loan amortize our loan payments? Typically, loans are amortized over 30 years, even though the loan may have a balloon payment of 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 5 years, 7 years. So we're just going to go with 30 for our amortization period. Now we're going to estimate our points for the new loan and our closing costs. This number is calculated here as a percentage. So our points in closing costs, let's just estimate that could be around 5%. Now you have completed estimating all of your numbers and can review your totals. You have a full picture of whether or not this extra strategy is a good fit for you. You can see your total capital needed, the max dollar amount, and the actual to be financed. And then we're going to have our total loan amount here. Any closing costs or interest added to the loan will be placed here. Remember, we had the option to choose paying our closing costs and fees up front at closing, or on the back end when we sold the property, we chose upfront at closing. So that number here would be 0 because nothing is added to the loan. The next section over, of course, is a very important number. That's going to be the total cash required over the life of the project. Always, always a good number to keep in mind. As well as the next number is a good number to know. This is the total cost for your project. It includes everything: your purchase price, your rehab costs, your points, your fees, your holding costs, your closing costs. It calculates all of that right here. Then we have the percentage of the ARV. This is a percentage of the total cost of the project based on the after repair value. And the after repair value, of course, is the value after all the work is completed on the property. Below now, you can review your remaining numbers. We have our net operating income. We're going to have our new mortgage payment, We're going to have our new loan amount to refinance, cash out if any, and then next to that is our profit on a refinance. This is how much cash you're pulling out over your total cost. When it scroll down just a little, look at the remaining numbers. Here we can see any cash flow, if any, and then we will have our cash on cash percentage here. And this is the percentage based on the cash that you have spent on the deal. Then we will see any money that's tied up into the refinance, any equity that's left in the deal, and we can go down to review our DCR percentage. This is very important when calculating an income producing property. You will see also your cap rate for holding on to a rental property for your cost basis and based on the ARV. As you can see, you will have a full understanding of your project's potential as a rental property and whether or not you should keep this as a rental or sell this property as a flip. Now that we have completed all of our initial assumptions, purchase, rehab, financing, and now exit strategies, we are ready to review, print, and share our reports. We will discuss how to generate and share reports in another tutorial. Thank you for using REI Property Pro, and good luck with your real estate investments.